What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, I wanted to try out Shadow Ice Fang Drapion for myself because I keep on seeing all of these teams weak to Ice-type damage. Now, Drapion obviously doesn't have stab damage on Ice Fang, but it still does quite a bit of damage here, pairing it up with Aqua Tail as well as Crunch for the charge attacks. I'm going to have as well our Shadow Murkrow. I feel like I got to get my money's worth out of this Pokemon. I put so much Stardust into this thing, and honestly, it's a lot of fun to use, so I wanted to give it a go once again today. And finally, in the lead is going to be our Claydol here, running Mud Slap, Rock Tomb, and Ice Beam. Let's get into the battles and see what this team can do. Alright, let's get into the first game of the day. Claydol up against a Galarian and Moltres in the lead. Not my favorite lead matchup, but our backline is well equipped to handle this Pokemon. We say swap our Shadow Drapion and are countered by a Shadow Annihilate here. Now, this is where Ice Fang really does come in handy. The fast attack pressure against this Pokemon is going to put them into a range where just a single Aqua Tail landing is all we would need to knock them out here. And even if they shield our attacks up, look at how low they are on HP. At this point, Drapion putting in quite a bit of work, but I know at this point, going down shields when I have a Shadow Murkrow on the backline could be a bad idea. I want to save that shield advantage potentially for a Murkrow sweep. In comes an attack here. I know Boosted Rage Fist is going to do a lot of damage here, but honestly, once again, I'm going to no-shield this. We know it's not that useful up against that Moltres, so hoping that our Murkrow has enough play in the backline to win us this game. In comes that Moltres once again. In comes our Shadow Murkrow. Our opponent brings in their final Pokemon. It's their own Drapion, luckily on Poison Sting instead of Ice Fang as a fast attack, which means we don't get knocked out by fast attack pressure, although it's a non-Shadow Drapion here, so they actually survive that Drill Peck. Insane stuff. This means maybe if they survive that next Peck here, they might be able to get to 2 moves against us, which would drop both of my shields, and that would be incredibly awkward. Exactly what we do end up seeing happen here. I have to double shield my Murkrow now. They have some energy on that Moltres, but I also know I have energy here on my Murkrow as well as energy on my Claydol. If they shield this up, I can Rock Tomb them with my Claydol later on. If they no-shield, I need to go for a fast attack down. They no-shield, in comes that Peck damage here. I'm going to try to go for a catch in just a second. Our opponent does not fall for it, but I actually still Mud Slap down, just barely able to pick up the win. Well played there to our opponent. Next game is a Claydol into a Pawniard lead. Pretty good lead matchup for us here. Not exactly a hard counter, but it is where I want to see that Steel-type Pokemon. A safe swap of a Sableye comes in, and I have my Shadow Drapion ready to go as a counter swap. I could have brought in our Shadow Murkrow as well, but the regular Sableye, honestly, it puts in some work against Murkrow, saying you don't quite farm them down completely, and at this point, a Dazzling Gleam does not one-shot us, so I can go for an Aqua Tail here. Even if they call this, though, I don't really mind. I don't want to go and give that Pawniard a massive farm down against our Drapion, so them calling that is fine by me. I'll just let my Shadow Drapion go down at this point, hopefully get some energy myself on my Murkrow, and hopefully energy lead in the backline is going to be the better play to go. Down goes that Sableye. What's going to come in? Likely that Pawniard. Yeah, here it comes. That Steel-type Pokemon. Going to try to do its best to absorb all of my energy here, but Pecks are kind of shutting through their HP already in this game. We know Drill Peck as well does about half their HP, just a little bit more. They Night Slash Beta Stare. In comes our Drill Peck ourselves. Do they shield this? Will they let this go? I'm not quite sure what they have in the backline. Let us find out shortly, I guess. No, they shield, or they no shield rather, which means I'm going to double shield my Murkrow, farm them all the way down, use our Peck fast attack pressure to farm down this Pokemon, and then double throw against their final Pokemon, whatever that might be. It's a Galarian Rapidash, and at this point, I'm not quite sure I have enough HP in the bank to win this game, but I know if I have any chance here, it's by landing all of these Drill Pecks, try to put them into a range where a Rock Tomb from our Claydol could knock out. But I'm going to be honest, at this point, this is looking kind of grim. Without any shields remaining, and with that bit of chip damage that we have against our Claydol, there's a good chance a Mega Horn will knock us out, or at the very least, put us down into a range where the next couple of Fairy Winds will KO us. We do survive, just barely there. A Rock Tomb wouldn't have knocked out anyway. They do farm us down. Unfortunately, not quite able to close out that matchup, but well played to our opponent. Next game, Incineroar in the lead. Oh my goodness, what an innovative pick here. Honestly, kind of a cool Pokemon to see. It's one of the best answers to Pawniard in the meta. Has Fire Fang, I'd assume Brutal Swing and Blast Burn as well. I do want to get my Claydol against that if I can, but we did see in this previous game that potentially Rapidash is a very tricky Pokemon for our team, so if I can neutralize this Pokemon as well, I wouldn't mind getting this thing out of the way. In comes that Rock Tomb. We do draw a shield here, and at this point, I might as well go for an Ice Fang down with our Shadow Drapion. With the attack debuff that we got against him, I know a Mega Horn will not knock us out. I can no-shield this, farm all the way down. They actually go for a Body Slam bait here. Are they at back-to-back? I guess they are. All right, well, that's fine still. We do survive the next Body Slam, which means we can farm down. We have a lot of energy, and if they do come back in with that Incineroar, Aqua Tail's going to do quite a bit of damage. If they show the final Pokemon too, we can play it by ear and see what we need to do. We do see the final Pokemon is a Mandibuzz running Air Slash. Ice Fang super effective against this Pokemon. Aqua Tail not the most efficient attack though to throw into this, so I'm going to bank some energy, have that Aqua Tail in case I need it for that Incineroar later on, come in with our Shadow Murkrow here, and start throwing Drill Pecks as quickly as we can. At this point, the game's pretty over. By baiting this Pokemon back out, I know for a fact here we can get both shields, or rather get their shield down, and get a knockout here with the Drill Peck. They do throw a Brutal Swing at the last second here, which will end up knocking us out if I let it go because of how squishy Shadow Murkrow is, but because at this point we can farm this down with our Claydol, that should be all we need to do to win this game. Down goes our Murkrow here. We're going to farm them down with our Claydol. Our opponent might have closed out of the zap. I'm not quite sure at this point, but it doesn't really matter. No matter what would have happened, a Rock Tomb plus an Aqua Tail would be enough to knock out. We still have a shield ready to go here as well. In comes the Rock Tomb. Our opponent at this point would need like 4 or 5 foul plays to win them this game. In comes a Rock Tomb, in comes the combo play with our Aqua Tail, and this game is over. Aqua Tail will knock out this Mandibuzz, Shadow Drapion on the stay swap, putting in a decent amount of work. Love to see it. GG to our opponent. Next game is going to be Claydol up against a Lucario. Okay, pretty good lead matchup. Obviously, our backline not the best into this Pokemon. A face-off of a Shadow Sableye comes in, and Shadow Murkrow this time going to counter it. I know with the Shadow Sableye, Peck does just a little bit more damage. I'm hoping I can go for a 2-shield farm down against this Pokemon. Foul Play does come through against us. I'm going to go for a CMP on this next attack here. Drill Peck likely will end up getting a knockout if our opponent does let this go. In comes the attack. Will we see a shield? Will they let us go down? They do let it go. Interesting stuff here. What is going to come in to try to farm us down? It might be their lead Pokemon, might be their final Pokemon, depending on what they want to do. They actually do bring back in the Lucario here. And the thing is, I feel like they might be a little bit soft to our Murkrow. I'm going to swap out of Murkrow, not give a huge farm down over, saying a Shadow Ball would one-shot our Claydol, basically. So you swap back into Claydol, knowing that Claydol up energy is pretty good in this meta. We go for the Ice Beam here against the opposing Claydol, and this move, while it will not one-shot, if it does end up landing, we'll put this Claydol very, very low. Yeah, they shield the first move, rather. I'm going to go for the next Ice Beam in just a second. Our opponent goes for the CMP. We win CMP. At this point, this game is looking so good for us. Ice Beam will not one-shot once again, but it puts them into a range where even just Ice Fang damage from our Shadow Drapion should be able to farm them down. And Lucario, while it is good against both Murkrow as well as Drapion here, I think with a shield and with all of the HP we have left over, I'm not quite sure what they can do. Force Palms are adding up against us, but we have that Aqua Tail ready to go. Might not knock out. It's a non-stab Aqua Tail against a Lucario. It still does quite a bit of damage, though. A couple more Ice Fangs should be enough here. I'm not going to shield this just in case it's a power-up punch, but even if it is a nuke move, we can peck down with our Murkrow. Looks like it was a pup. Good no-shield by me. GG to our opponent. Next game, Claydol into the Claydol Mirror match. Honestly, I don't really like this matchup a lot of the time. You can go for Rock Tomb base, you can go for Ice Beam nukes. Really depends on what your opponent has in the back and how scared they are of your own Claydol. Oh my goodness, they went for a move after 5. Could be a Scorching Sands, I guess, as well. Yeah, I guess that is the case here. They get the debuff. Are you joking me? That's like, what, a 10% chance after this the nerf in this season? That's so sad. Now we do, like, no damage with that Ice Beam there. I say so on my Shadow Murkrow. Oh my, is Incineroar the play now? Maybe I should try this Pokemon out. Another Incineroar here going to be shown on screen. I go for the Drill Peck. We do draw a shield, but these Fire Fangs are doing so much damage to us. I could shield this up. I could go for another Drill Peck, and I feel like that is going to be worthwhile. Saying, honestly, if they farm us all the way down here, then the Brutal Swings against our Claydol would also do quite a bit of damage. I want to get a bit more Peck damage against them, maybe draw their second shield. They do shield their Incineroar here. I get some more fast attack pressure into them. I bring in my own Claydol, and I have to hope that whatever's in the backline, our Claydol has play into. Or rather, a Drapion at this point. I'm going to no-shield this move. It does end up knocking us out. In comes our Shadow Drapion to try to Ice Fang down. It's going to be close, though. Looks like Incineroar just bulky enough to be able to survive these Ice Fangs, get another attack off. I know it's a Brutal Swing. I have to no-shield, but that puts us well into the yellow. It needs to be a Pokemon in the backline that we're strong against to have any chance to win this game. Man, I was hoping that was like a Moltres or something, or a Murkrow, but it's a Mandibuzz. I feel like Mandibuzz is just bulky enough, despite the super effective damage we have against them, to be able to survive the damage, get to 2 Air Releases, and knock us out. They are on Snarl, which is kind of interesting. Don't see Snarl Mandibuzz too often in this day and age, especially in this meta. I think Air Slash is the more common moveset. We need 2 of these Aqua Tails to knock out, just barely don't get it before the next Air Release. Well played to our opponent. Incineroar, I guess that's a pretty crazy pick here. Maybe I should try it out. It seems like a pretty fun Pokemon to use just in general, so maybe we'll have to give it a go. Next game, Claydol, yikes, into a Shadow Murkrow lead. Does not get much worse than this, although Shadow Ice Fang does do quite a bit of damage here. They instantly counter swap us with a Morpeko. I guess it's good that we baited this out, but honestly, at this point, Morpeko is going to put in quite a bit of work here. The worst thing about this is if I go for a shield here, then our opponent obviously is going to be able to go for another move and ramp up even further. But if I no shield, then they're going to be in Dark-type mode, which means my Claydol in the backline as well will likely have to go for a shield if it doesn't want to get one-shot by this Pokemon. They do go for the attack here. I got a shield advantage, so I'm going to go for the shield and farm down against them here. But honestly, this is such a bad spot to be in. I'm going to be down a lot of resources. They Psychic Fangs us as well. Well, that's even worse. I'm not quite sure what we can do here. I will get a farm down. I won't even get a farm down. They actually just swap into the Shadow Sableye. That's insane. They must realize at this point they are in such a good spot. They don't even need to worry about Switch when both of their Pokemon remaining are so good into Claydol. And not only that, but our opponent playing this incredibly smart. They go for a huge overfarm here. I was hoping they'd snipe down our Claydol a little bit sooner, but now they have so much energy. I think my only win condition is calling a Foul Play bait or potentially shielding a Dazzling Gleam and farming down. I'm going to instantly no-shield. It's not going to be a nuke, is it? Oh my goodness, well played by them. Honestly, shielding that move up might have given us a farm down that we could have used to win the game, but well played. I guess sometimes we gotta shield those big moves. GG to our opponent. And not again, it's a Shadow Murkrow on the lead. Ice Fang Drapion, as a safe swap though, is gonna put in some work here, it looks like. My opponent brings in their own Drapion as a counter swap, and the thing is here, while we will get outpaced for these Aqua Tails, they need 2 to knock us out. With the Ice Fang damage that I have, all I need is 1. In comes their next Aqua Tail. I can go for the shield here, overfarm even more energy, and see what they want to do. Maybe they shield this up, maybe they don't. I would be surprised if they shield, saying the longer this goes, the better it gets for Ice Fang Drapion. In comes the Aqua Tail, our opponent going for the no shield. Who's going to come in now? I'm not quite sure. Murkrow, if it comes back in, is going to take a lot of damage, so likely the final Pokemon at this point, it's going to be an Annihilate that comes in here. I bring in my Murkrow, knowing at this point that they can't really swap out of this matchup unless they think at this point that this Annihilate is going to be more useful against that Claydol than the Murkrow was. They go for a Rage Fist. I can't shield a Rage Fist, right? There's no chance that would be the play. I go for the Drill Peck here as well to get the instant knockout. It looks like they're going to rely solely on their Murkrow right now to win them this game. The thing is, though, I still have a lot of damage left over on my Shadow Drapion. Ice Fang is super effective here. Look at the damage we're getting off against them. 4 Ice Fangs land, put them into a range where I think even just a Mud Slap or 2 could be enough to knock out. I know they have 2 Foul Plays, but they need 3 to knock us out here. There's no chance they can survive long enough to reach that. Foul Play does like 75% of my HP, but 1 more Mud Slap finishes off the game. Well played to our opponent. Next game, Pawniard up against our Claydol. Fantastic for our Claydol to see. In comes the Shadow Sableye Safe Swap. I have my Murkrow as our counter swap here. The Peck damage is going to try its best here to add up against this Pokemon. Not quite sure if I can go for a 2-shield farm down. I'm going to try our best to if I can. I go for the CMP against this Sableye. Do they shield? Do they let this go? Really depends, once again, on how scared they are of our Murkrow. They do shield. I'm going to go for the double shield, I think, and go for a farm down if I can. Not quite sure if I can before they get the knockout against us here, rather the next foul play. I'm going to go for it. Do we get it? Just barely. We do. We knock out that Sableye, and we're going to see something try to take all of the energy here. Looks like Pawniard is what's going to come in. The problem is we've seen this time and time again. Shadow Murkrow into Pawniard is not that bad for us. 2 Drill Pecks easily knock out. Either they have to use their final shield here, or they just have to be a 3-on-1 in the backline with whatever their final Pokemon is going to be. I bring in my own Claydol here. We were met by a Shadow Murkrow, and because I bring in my Claydol as quickly as I can, I have a Rock Tomb already ready to go. This attack should be able to get a debuff against them, although what they might do here, which it looks like they are going to do, is they can build up a lot of energy against us, potentially get to 100, go for a foul play here, maybe get 2 Drill Pecks off against our Drapion, and that might be a little bit scary if that's going to be the case. Ice Fang damage is super effective. Peck as well is going to add up quite a bit against them. In comes their Ice Fang damage. It's shredding through their HP. And I know at this point they're at back-to-back. I likely would expect them to throw them one after another to avoid all the damage that they can. I go for the catch on our Murkrow. In comes the Drill Peck. Down goes our poor little Murkrow here. But now we have a bit more Ice Fang damage that we can get off against them. Down goes their Murkrow. We're able to pick up the win. Well played to our opponent. But Drapion, just a bit too much fast attack pressure there in the backline. Next game, another Galarian Rapidash on the lead. I keep on making these calls wrong. Can I make the right call in this matchup? Let's see. In comes an attack here. Could be a Mega Horn, could be a Body Slam, could be a lot of things from this Pokemon. I go for the shield, and it's a Body Slam. We get baited once again here, but at least Rock Tomb will debuff their attack stat, make it so if they do reach another Mega Horn, I can survive it and force not only another Mega Horn, but a Body Slam to knock us out in the one-shield matchup. And the best thing about this, too, is look at the Mud Step damage we've done against them. While they are going to be able to put us pretty low with this Mega Horn, we're going to chip them down quite a bit as well, make it so this Pokemon's not quite as big of a threat for our backline. They throw that Body Slam here after that Mega Horn, which will end up knocking us out, but because we do have some fast attack pressure in the backline, Drapion should be able to Ice Fang this down and put us in a pretty good position. They bring in a Shadow Annihilate here. I have my Murkrow with the Peck damage, ready to farm them all the way down. Our opponent, though, at this point is going to throw a Rage Fist. I don't love shielding this, but I think I have to at this point. Rage Fist will draw our first shield. Peck damage is doing quite a bit to them. We farm them down, but they almost knock us out with neutral fast attack damage. They bring back in that Rapidash, and this is not looking ideal for us right now because it looks like they'd Fairy Wind us down before I get to another move. So I go for that move there. We knock them out. In comes our final attack against them. It's going to be a foul play against the Claydol, and while this might not get a knockout against them, it will draw their shield. Can't quite swap out here, which means I don't know if I can reach a crunch before a Rock Tomb will be reached. Looks like they are at the move right now. I think this might knock us out, but there's a chance I survive. Maybe I can still get a crunch off against them. Scorching Sands is just game over, actually. They just knock us out there straight up. Well played to our opponent. They baited out our Murkrow, and that is all they needed to do. Next game is a Lucario on the lead. A Pokemon that, once again, my Mud Slap user is going to be fantastic to see. A Safe Swap of a Shadow Murkrow here. And the best thing about Shadow Ice Fang Drapion is just go for a one-shield complete farm down against this Pokemon. You come out with nearly back-to-back Aqua Tails ready to go against that Lucario when it comes back in, and this should put us in a very good spot. In comes that Lucario, first Aqua Tail already going to be reached. If they go for a shield here, I think we still get to a second one, and we also see they are on Force Palm as their fast attack. Just good to know, just in case we're on like Bullet Punch or something. It's always kind of an interesting thing to see. I think honestly, both movesets of Lucario do make sense in this meta, so Force Palm here is going to be a little bit better for our Claydol to see. I'm going to try to slap him down with some Mud Slap damage. I know they have a Shadow Ball ready to go right now, but the best thing about Claydol is even in bad matchups, I can go for a Rock Tomb against them, and we should be able to permanently lock them in with an attack drop. In comes our Rock Tomb against a Galarian Moltres here. And while this move is not going to one-shot, oh, they actually, I was going to say, it's going to go for a shield almost certainly, right? No, they do let that go, which might be a little bit awkward for us, actually. I have another Rock Tomb ready to go, but if they're going to get a full farm down against us, there's a chance we might lose this game. Let's see what's going to happen. In comes the Rock Tomb here against them. Can I get to another one before we get farmed down? It's not looking like it. No, just barely they farm us down here. Hold on, this could be kind of bad, but I know my win condition here. I'm going to go for the Peekaboo play, come in with Drapion, force a fly out of them, and now they need a second fly to knock out my Murkrow. This should bail us out of a pretty bad position, because now I think all of their energy is out of the way. I can go for the Ice Fang down against this Pokemon just barely in the backline. What a close endgame here. It's going to be a race to the finish, but the fast attack pressure on our side is just a little bit higher. We're able to knock them out. GG to our opponent. Next game, another Incineroar. Oh my goodness. All right, well, let's see what we can do here this game. In the save swap is a Shadow Sableye once again. We've seen this Pokemon so many times today. The best thing is our Shadow Murkrow has proven to be a pretty consistent answer to this Pokemon. Foul Play is thrown. In comes our next Drill Peck in just a second here. Our opponent will go for a CMP against us, but it looks like the Sableye might just be a little bit healthier than the last few times that we fought this matchup. I'm not quite sure if I can 2-shield farm down, which could be kind of bad. If I can't keep Switch this game, then maybe if I lose Switch advantage, that Incineroar can line up into my Drapion, which, while that's not the worst case scenario, I'd assume their final Pokemon is another answer to our Claydol. Yeah, looks like this Sableye might be a bit bulkier than the last ones we've been seeing. I can't peck them down. I go for the CMP, they shield us up, and I think even a Foul Play at this point will be enough to knock out a Shadow Murkrow. Down goes our Murkrow, down goes Switch advantage. This is not looking ideal. I do get an energy lead with our Shadow Drapion here, which is kind of nice, I suppose. Aqua Tail is super effective into the Incineroar, but it's only an Aqua Tail. It's not going to one-shot. It never one-shots anything here. So while I do get this attack off against them, they do survive. In comes a Mud Sap against them, and in the backline is a Mandibuzz, so I guess it could be worse for us, but I'm going to be honest, it's still not looking great. I think Mandibuzz in the Zero Shield matchup can survive 2 Rock Tombs, get to 2 Foul Plays, and then Incineroar, not only will it be able to knock us out with a Fire Fang down against our Claydol after 2 of these Foul Plays, but I think a Blast Burn against our Drapion just one-shots us. In comes our next Rock Tomb to try to do as many debuffs against them as we can. This move, while it will not knock them out, will at the very least make it so I take less damage myself here. Maybe I can make a catch. I try to go for it. The Switch Clock just barely not up, which means at this point, our Claydol is going to be deep into the red. I'm going to have to go for a combo play if I can, try to snipe him down, but our opponent calls that. They come in with that Incineroar here. Blast Burn going to knock us out. Down goes our Shadow Drapion. Well played to our opponent. Incineroar, dude, it's unhinged in this meta. I guess it's honestly pretty good. Next game is a Rapidash, once again on the lead. I have no idea if I'm going to make the right calls here in this matchup. Likely not with what I've seen here so far today. I'm going to go for what here? I'm not even sure what happens in this game. I go for the shield. They go for the Body Slam. The tail is old this time. Rock Tomb, though, being thrown after the fact. We've seen this matchup, even with a Body Slam bait, is very playable for our Claydol. We do get that shield here. Fast attack pressure is doing quite a bit to this Rapidash. Our opponent going to throw a Mega Horn almost certainly now, right? Here comes the attack. What is it going to be? Big surprise. Our opponent does go for that Mega Horn. We survive it. We force a bit more energy out of them, but actually we don't. They end up catching on a Claydol. Very nice catch by our opponent. But the thing is, I'm honestly fine with that. I can bring in my Murkrow, and after that Rock Tomb damage, I think a Foul Play might just be enough to knock him out here. I have the Foul Play ready to go. If they go for the No Shield, I think they just waste their entire Claydol in this match. Foul Play comes through and knocks them out. One shot against that Claydol. Love to see that. Down goes a full Rock Tomb of energy. If they bring back in that Pony here, I think it can one-shield farm them all the way down. It is going to be that Rapidash that comes back in. I'm going to shield this up, try to peck them all the way down here. In comes that Body Slam. In comes their final Pokemon as an Annihilate. And I think I see my win condition. It's not the most, honorable, but I'm going to go for the fast attack down here. Peck damage doing so much to them. I'm almost farmed down myself, but they have to throw a move against us before we get knocked out, rather before they're knocked out. And now Ice Fang just enough damage to farm them down as well. Honestly, a Poison Sting Drapion might have made this close, but Ice Fang closes out that game. GG to our opponent. Next game, a Shadow Drapion on the lead. We have access to Mud Sap against us, obviously. Our opponent with a Stay Swap of an Annihilate here. And I do know that I have a lot of play against this Pokemon, but it's also a little bit awkward for our Murkrow, as we've also seen, right? Murkrow takes so much damage from the fast attacks here. Rage Fist comes through. It does end up doing a decent chunk of damage to us. I'm going to go for the Rock Tomb bait. Maybe a bad play if they no-shield this, but I do want to lower their attack stat if I can here to make it so I take a little bit less damage. And now Murkrow will come in. I get a shield with that Rock Tomb. Fantastic stuff. And peck damage is shredding through their HP. I'm going to shield this up. I know it's likely going to be a Rage Fist, but just in case it's an Ice Punch, I don't want to risk it, which it actually was there. We farmed them all the way down. Who's going to come in? Oh, it's an Ice Fang Drapion. I was playing on the assumption that maybe it was on Poison Sting, but Ice Fang Drapion will actually farm us down right before I can reach 2 charge attacks here. That is not great for us to see. They get a big energy lead. We don't know what's in the backline just yet, so I don't know whether bringing in my Drapion or my Claydol is the right play here. I bring in my Shadow Drapion. I know we can survive an Aqua Tail at the very least, and we can put them into Aqua Tail range themselves. In comes the attack, Aqua Tail coming against us. I no shield, I have another Aqua Tail ready to go against them. This attack should do a decent amount of damage into our opponent. Will they go for... I guess they don't have any shields, do they? No, they get knocked out here. Final Pokemon is a Primeape, and I'm not quite sure how to play this matchup out because at this point I have an Aqua Tail ready to go. I think Aqua Tail is going to do quite a bit of damage, and Primeape's pacing is insane. I'm going to shield this up, hope this is the right play. Maybe saving the shield for the Claydol could have been better too, but I don't know if I'd even reach an Ice Beam against them here with how quick this Pokemon is. I bring in the Claydol, we go for a Mud Slap, doesn't quite get the snipe down before another Rage Fist is going to be reached. It's a fast move race at the end of this game. Can I Ice Fang down? It's going to be a tie here to finish off the day. Very close game, well played to our opponent. Honestly, maybe investing a shield in the Claydol could have been the play there. I'm not even sure. Don't look at the screen. I can't even throw this Carbink. Oh my goodness. But with that here, getting a 3-2 set here to finish off the night. Not too bad. Claydol, a lot of fun to use in this meta. Obviously, it's the most meta Pokemon, I think, in this entire format. But I think Shadow Ice Fang Drapion put in quite a bit of work itself. It is pretty alignment dependent at times, but because of that Ice Fang damage, the fast attack pressure can be very unexpected for your opponents, and it is a lot of fun to use. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.